YouTube, how's it going? Simon Brown here, back with another video. Different views today, internal view, and we're going to go to cockpit view very shortly, looking at the front facing dash cam. And we're going to do the A442, so the dual carriageway that runs through Telford. People know it as the Eastern Primary or the EP. People know it as just the dual carriageway. People know it as Queensway. Its official name, if you're looking at road signs and using road markings, things like that, sat nav, that sort of thing, that would call it the A442. And we're going to go the A442 south, and we're going to go all the way down. So we're going to go south to north. So we're going to start on the A518 road. I'm currently in the lay-by on the A518, halfway down, about to approach Trench Lock Gyratory, which is now fully open after some roadworks last week. And we're going to go from there, we're going to go all the way down to the roundabout just by Madeley Academy. So down to Madeley. So it's a 7-mile stretch. On the way, I'm going to talk to you about road markings, lane positioning, lane changes, how to recognise when to change lane, situations you might have to be aware of, how to look for slip roads and make sure people can join us safely, and we can help people out on those slip roads that might want to join in our left-hand lane. What our options are if we needed to move lane, how we do that safely, and a host of other things on the drive. So strap in, we're going to seatbelt on, and we're going to get ready to go. So let's see if we can find a space in this lay-by. It is 4:37 p.m. on a Monday afternoon, so a little bit of busier traffic than normal. I'm going to put my indicator on, so I've found a gap. I'm going to check my blind spot as I go. Looking okay with that, and I'm happy with that. I'm going to build my speed up quite quickly. I'm joining a 50 speed limit road. I've got quite a nice gap behind me. Hoping this camera holds out okay. It's a bit of a test run. I'm approaching Trench Lock Gyratory roundabout now, so I'm going to take the second exit. So I'm heading off towards the A442 south. So I'm looking at this green road sign. It does say the left lane is for the A442 south. So I'm using the left-hand lane. And as I go through the lights, it's going to become 3 lanes rather than 2. So I want to use the middle lane as I come through the lights. If I stayed in the left lane, that's just going to be for trench. So let's check out my right mirror, make sure no one's coming with me on that right hand side. No one's there, so I'm happy to move across the middle there. Keep looking at my left and right, just stop for the lights there. Going to get my car ready. It's a slight hill, so I'm going to go into first gear. I'm going to use my handbrake here because I'm going to be here for 10 seconds or so, so pause becomes a wait. I'm in first gear, I've got my bike getting ready, get a bit of gas pressure ready just in case light goes to green quicker. I'm ready here. No roll backwards, pushing away. The next set's gone to green already. Still checking my right mirror, make sure no one's being silly coming from the either side there. Keep an eye on these pedestrians on their bicycles on the left of me as I join the dual carriageway. So it's a 30 speed limit until I reach the 60 signs. So really hold back on that speed limit. And we're joining the dual carriageway here. So I'm going to raise our speed now. I'm going to let it over rev slightly in third gear, so I can get into fourth gear and attack that accelerator a little bit better. Getting to about 50-52 miles an hour, and I'm going to go to gear 5. I've already got an exit leaving, so shortly I'm going to get an exit, the slip road that's going to join on the left of me. I'm starting to look in that right hand lane for options. I may not have to do anything with my movement, but I do have a little space on the right if I need to move. There is a vehicle about 6-7 car lengths behind me on the right hand lane, so I've got a movement if I need it. I'm going to check this slip road really early, so I'm leaning forwards. I've got a vehicle there, so I am going to move to the right hand lane now. Check the mirrors, I've moved across. Black car's back in, and I'm actually going to stay here for a moment because I'm going to look at what this sign is telling me up ahead here. Now, I want to stay on the A442 for Bridge North. So I'm actually going to stay in the right hand lane now. Don't know if you've seen in the middle there, the road markings have changed from a short line long gap to a longer line and a much shorter gap. Now the long line short gap I'm seeing here currently tells me that there's a hazard approaching, or there is a change approaching, and that change is the left lane is going to become a slip road eventually, and the right lane is going to remain as the A442. Looking at the sign again, it says get in lane. So the left lane is now the B5061 for Priorslee and St George's. So I want to stay on the A442, I need to stay in this right hand lane. Notice how our road markings have changed again. Very, very short, stumpy lines, short gaps, but lots of regular ones, telling me it's two different roads essentially now. So if you look here, you see there's a max speed 30 sign that applies. That's just for the left lane only. That's for the corner. You've got the black and white arrows ahead of you that's telling you it's got a sharp bend. And up ahead, obviously, the left lane has left. Becomes a slip road. I've then got a left lane joining us, which is what these green and white arrows is telling me. So making sure no one's there, although they do become their own left-hand lane on their own, so I don't have to worry about them too much. And I'm still staying here. I'm looking at the sign for Hollinswood, A442 in the right-hand lane. Our markings have changed again, so we're still thinking about staying here. The left lane is for Cannock, Telford Town Centre, Stafford Park, and the train station. So I'm staying in the right-hand lane here. Still checking these mirrors regularly. Keep in mind who's behind me, what's going on. There's a white car on the left of me about to leave, it's just accelerating. Got a nice space between myself and the vehicle behind, a couple of car lengths, which is what we're seeing in dry condition where we've got now. I'm staying here as we speak. Hopefully this camera's working okay. Any comments about that, please let me know. Looking ahead, I've got a sign that's telling me the left lane is rejoining. Now, I'm going back to much more of a regular dual carriageway here, so I'm checking, I'm leaning forward, using my blind spot, no one there. Markings have gone back to normal now. Short line, long gap, so I'm going to indicate, coming across, check my mirrors again, regular mirror checks, back in the left-hand lane. Now, back on a traditional dual carriageway for a moment. Regular checks. My mirror just in case. Got a slip road leaving. So we have the slip road joining me shortly. I've also got some new road markings to think about here. They look like little painted arrows, little triangle, the fronts of arrows. They're called chevrons. I would like to keep at least 2 chevrons apart from the vehicle in front of me. I'll tell you why that's important in these 2 exits in a moment. So I'm looking. Quite a few vehicles in this lane with me. I can't move because there's a vehicle there. Now I can move, so I'm just delaying my movement slightly. Fiesta can now join alongside me. They said thank you, that's really nice of them. Still keeping 2 chevrons apart. The reason why the chevrons are here on the Stafford Park slip road exit and on the Halesfield exit. Stafford Park and Halesfield, if you don't know Telford very well, Stafford Park and Halesfield are both industrial estates. Think about the kind of vehicle that are more likely to join from those 2 exits and any other exit on the dual carriageway. Long vehicles, HGVs, lorries, the works. So, by increasing our distance and having a 2 chevron gap, which we should have anyway, but by making it a little bit more obvious for road users, it encourages us to give a bigger space that will allow larger vehicles to join in those gaps a lot safer. If we need to increase that space further, we've already got 2 chevrons of space to do that. Doesn't always work. I'm not sure if you can see the silver car and the caravan up front. They're not 2 chevrons apart. The chevrons have ended now, but I'm still thinking about Halesfield here. Checking my left side. Good scanning, blind spot check. Checking it all the way. Don't forget, don't just stop here. Keep checking, because you want to make sure that no one's coming up really fast on that left side of you that's going to slip into space. He's going to catch you unawares there. Checking my right mirror, no one there. So, we're coming to the end of the dual carriageway section already. And last slip road leaving where the caravan and the silver car are going. Now, we have got a sign here, a triangular sign that says our left lane is going to merge with our right lane. So I'm going to come in here, so I'm going to check my right mirror. There is a white car going quite fast. You have to slow down behind me. If I can get that on the rear dash cam footage, I will show you what just happened there. I don't think that white car planned that particularly well, because I delayed moving because I could see how fast they were accelerating, and I had a funny feeling they were going to try and overtake me at the same time, but they didn't quite have enough road to do that. Back to 50 speed limits, just slowing down a little bit. checking behind, making sure it's safe, and it was, even though we're quite bunched up in front of us. And then I'm going to be in a bit of a queue by the looks of it, looking ahead, so I'm going to start braking early, still checking the right centre every now and again. Keep braking, bring my speed down, go through my gears. I'm going to go straight to gear 2 here from gear 5. Quite an abrupt speed change and a gear change, but if I'm going to be stopping anyway, I may as well make the most of those movements and think about my braking a lot more. Bit of a queue there as well. So, bit of a whistle stop tour there. As you can see, I was quite dynamic on my movements when I was looking over my blind spot, looking in my mirrors, looking to see if those slip roads were clear or not. So using my shoulder and leaning forwards a bit to see. So don't be afraid to lean out of your seat, lean forwards, lean round when you're driving. As long as you've got control, just glance every now and again over your shoulder, make sure no one's going to join you. Slip roads, don't forget to check all the way down that slip road. Just because the first part of it is clear doesn't mean that you can stop checking, because what might happen is people might come up very fast on the left side of you, and it'll be on the side that you can't see as well because you sit on the right of the car, and you might miss a vehicle flying down that slip road. And it's happened before. It's happened to me on driving lessons and when I'm driving by myself, and it'll happen many more times. You'll get someone that sees that really long open stretch of road, they'll accelerate really quickly, and they'll be alongside you before you know it, and they'll catch you out. So really watch out for that. We're also really taking advantage of using our road markings to see what's happening in front of us, so we're planning what's going on next. Not enough road users on that stretch of road use the road markings to say where our lanes are going, what our lanes are saying to us, and where that first exit ended, where the left lane became the B5061 off towards Priorslee and St George's, and the right lane stayed as the dual carriageway. A lot of vehicles leave that very late to move. They don't get into their lanes early, and they potentially make the situation dangerous because they haven't got enough time to move, they don't have enough space always, so they're potentially cutting vehicles up in the process, making life really difficult for them. Coming to the end of the queue now, I'm getting to the roundabout. It's got the big cog in the middle, quite a staple part of Telford, heading towards Madeley. If I carried on ahead, I'd go off towards Iron Bridge. I'm going to turn right here though, because I want to go towards Aqueduct, so I can head home for the day. So I'm going to go right, 4th exit. Now this roundabout tends to be quite busy. I'm probably going to stop for a moment. I'm going to move after this silver car. I'm watching where this white car goes there, because this was the one that was behind me a moment ago. I'm a little bit concerned. Nothing against that driver at all, but we saw their planning or lack thereof planning as the lanes merged when the dual carriageway became a single carriageway about 5 minutes ago. So I always like to think about worst case scenario. I'm sure that wouldn't ever happen. I'm sure that was a little simple mistake on the part of that driver, which is absolutely fine, but I always like to make sure that there's nothing that's going to develop as a result of it. If I can be a bit more cautious in that scenario, I make it what's called a non-event. If you watch any of Ashley Neal's YouTube videos, I'm a big fan of Ashley Neal's YouTube videos. He'll always talk about trying to make things a non-event, trying to be a bit more defensive in how you drive, hold back a little bit further, make it nice and easy for yourself, and make things non-events. So rather than let it develop, you hold back, stay out of trouble, move when you can, but make it a non-event. So if that makes sense to you, great. If you want more clarity on that, please comment below. And yeah, we're at the other end of Telford now, so I hope that's been a help. I'm just going to find somewhere safe to park up in a second. I'm just going to debrief on what we've just done. So we've looked at the dual carriageway, we've looked at the end-to-end. I will film a video that goes the other end, so that goes north to south. So we head north. I'm going to go up here actually. I can pull over here somewhere safe. Park up here a moment. Make sure this side's okay as I move away. Let's go just past the bus stop, sorry, and I'll park up here on the left, just before this road hump. So I've got a clear view in front and behind. Just going to secure my car. Just going to switch off just for a second, leave my engine running so my dash cam doesn't turn off, which might be very awkward. So we've just looked at the dual carriageway on the whole. It's taken us about 10 minutes to get from end to end. That was in reasonably heavier traffic, so during getting towards rush hour. As you saw, we had a few vehicles in the left lane that we needed to move across for, so I didn't really have an option to slow down for vehicles because there were too many vehicles on a couple of slip roads, so I moved lane for that reason. And I moved back across when it was safe. So be prepared to do that, especially at busier times of the day, in the morning. And if you're driving at 5 o'clock onwards, be prepared to do that as well. And use your road markings, use your signs, use your markings on the road, not just your white lines, but also what the road is telling you. The fact that it's saying to you to get in lane early, to move lane early, what direction you're headed towards. Are you focusing on where you're following? Are you heading off towards the A442? A sat-nav will tell you where to go, and it will tell you to bear right or to move right at certain points, but sometimes the sat-nav tells you late. So if you can see the clues, like the road markings, the signs, anticipate that early and move lane early, you're going to make your life a lot easier. And we will do a video going the opposite end, so we'll go from Madeley down to Trench Lock. That'll probably come up on the channel next week once I've had a chance to review this footage and make sure this camera quality works okay, and I'm happy with that. Now that's end to end. If you'd like me to go into more detail, if you'd like to see me exit certain slip roads, help me out of any of those that might help when you're learning to drive in Telford, or when you're just driving, getting used to being in Telford, if you're new to Telford, please let me know in the comments below. And I really hope this new video has helped, this new camera angle has helped, so you can see where I'm looking, what I'm looking for when I'm driving. I'd like to make you also aware that even though the camera is sort of sat this side, I've still got full view of my left hand side. The camera is not impeding my left mirror at all. I can still see. I've not got I haven't created an extra blind spot by adding that camera there, so that camera is not impeding my view at all. Front dash cam is obviously out of the way of my sweep of the wiper, as it always is, that I use for driving tests, and I've never had a problem with where it is position wise for DVSA driving tests or for driving lessons as well. So just consider that if you are looking at dash cams. And other than that, guys, any comments, any feedback, always appreciated. Thank you for your support. Press that like and that follow button, and turn that bell on to get notifications about my new videos. I will be producing more videos on a more regular basis now. And thank you very much for your time. Take care.